Welcome everybody back to AuburnVersus.com. Mike Szvetitz, sports editor of the Opelika-Auburn News, here with Collin Mickle, Auburn University beat writer. And Collin, after the game Saturday against LSU, a 30-24 loss, crazy game, crazy ending. What is some of the players, now that they have a couple days to digest exactly what happened and what this means, and as far as what it means for the rest of the SEC season, but also what that game in Baton Rouge meant Saturday night, to play so hard, to lose like that at the end. You can't really hang your head. It's just a crazy end to a series that's always been crazy.
Well, I mean, you said it. It's another crazy, wild game in this series, and I think these players are mature enough, they understand enough, and they're well coached enough that they aren't going to mope. It was a tough loss, but I think it's more a positive thing that they played so well against the team that everyone thought on paper was more talented than Auburn. A team that was a 10-point favorite, a team that was the number 5 team in the country, a team that today is getting 5 first-place votes in the AP poll. Auburn has a lot to be proud of in that game, and I think that is what the players have been very successful in focusing on since then.
Let's talk about that last play. By now, everybody's heard and beat this to death. But I want.
Wait, what happened on the line? That was like a dive to the fullback,
something like that. Yeah, they flea flicker.
I was really paying attention.
But
they play like 12 games a year. I can't watch it.
Yeah, exactly. The question is, with 22 seconds left on the 22-yard line, 3rd and 7, you have a timeout left. Why call that play?
I'm going to be a contrarian here. Now, at the time, I turned to you well before that, during that drive, and I said I would have already thrown my last pass.
Yes.
I would be done passing, and I don't care if I have Joe Montana on my team. We're running the ball from here on out. But LSU's kicker is not Mr. Clutch, first of all. Colt David is not necessarily a guy that you want your whole game to be riding on. They did have time. When you watch the replay, it's pretty clear that Bird caught that ball with 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock, and the timekeeper allowed some time to run off. I like the call. I like the aggressiveness. It's not playing by the book, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Your goal on offense is to do exactly what nobody is expecting you to do. And that's exactly what they did. If he throws an interception, everybody looks bad. But look, they won the game because they played to win the game. They didn't play to set up a 40-yard field or a 39-yard field goal that maybe goes in, maybe doesn't. They took a shot at the end zone before kicking the inevitable field goal, and I like the call. I've given it a lot of thought, admittedly being a little contrarian, but I like the call.
So Les Miles was pulling a Herm Edwards. You play to win the game.
Les Miles is, I like the. Les Miles has what I will call guts. Even though we're on the internet, I'm not gonna go any further than that. That's right. Man has guts.
The Mad Hatter, as it were.
That's crazy. He's got like Abraham Lincoln with the dome there. He's just like a top hat. That's awesome.
Yeah, I made that up, by the way.
The Mad Hatter. That was very. Copyright. You actually have to give $1 to Lewis Carroll.
Probably.
Anyway.
Is Les Miles a smart coach, a crazy coach, a little loony? Is he? I mean, where does he fall? Lucky? I mean, is it all of them?
It's funny that you would say smart because I've always thought that coaches outsmart themselves. Right. I think coaches do a lot of things that are that they do because they think they're supposed to do them, because that's the strategy you do. You punt on 4th and inches, even though you're reasonably sure your offense can get it. You kick field goals in situations where you could probably take a shot at the end zone. Les Miles doesn't coach by a formula. He coaches by the gut. He believes in his players. He believes in his team. And again, there's not a lot not to like in the guy's record since he's been at LSU. Has he had talent? Absolutely. But has he won games? Absolutely. And it's harder than I think people realize to, you don't just get wins in pill form just because you have a bunch of 5-star athletes on your team. That's not how it happens. So Les Miles deserves a lot of credit, a lot more credit than he usually gets for the way that the LSU program has not missed a beat since Nick Saban left.
If he drops that pass and there's no time on the clock, does Les Miles leave that stadium alive?
Now, if he drops that pass and there's no time left on the clock, Les Miles may not leave that stadium alive, but the timekeeper is going to have a problem with his replacement.
That's true.
Legitimately, if Bird dropped that pass, LSU would have been facing 4th and 7, I think it was, from the 22, and then you kick the field goal, with a tick or two left on the clock.
And everybody says it's a chance.
And everybody says, hey, great aggressive call. I mean, the initial reaction from everyone was, oh my gosh, there was 1 second left on the clock, how daring. Now that we've had a chance, we all have looked at that play so many times, we realized that it was not quite as crazy a call as it seemed. At the time, I was 100% with you that it was outrageous, that he was a lunatic, that he was playing, he was literally risking his own life at the hands of a horde of angry Cajuns. But I've since been persuaded otherwise.
Speaking of a crazy Cajun, let's segue into Coach Odom, into the Ole Miss.
Well played.
See how I do that here on Auburn Versus? We slide right in there.
I'm afraid of the state of Mississippi, by the way. I criticized Mississippi State like 6 weeks ago.
Well, we're not criticizing. We're
still get emails.
Coach Orgeron is known for his enthusiasm and for his fiery coaching.
Yes.
Can that bring him in the Jordan-Hare Stadium and beat this Auburn team? Can that Ole Miss team, Coach O at the helm, beat Auburn?
Well, I personally hate this cliche, but I'm going to roll it out anyway. This Auburn team can be beat. Anybody can beat this Auburn team. We have seen it. I mean, Mississippi State is not a good football team. Mississippi State is not any better, I don't think, than Ole Miss. And listen, I'm sorry, Bulldog fans who continue to email me 6 weeks later, but it's true. Mississippi State not that good. The point is that Auburn is not in a position to take anybody for granted. They have played phenomenally well. When they give their A game, I don't think there's anybody that can beat them. But they don't always play their A game, especially in games like this. It's not going to be on TV. It's not going to be a very full stadium. It's not against a very good team. There's not really much to get keyed up for in this game. And those, as everyone who has followed Auburn football in the last few years knows, those are the games that are most dangerous for them.
What is it about Auburn's third quarter offense that in the last 4 games they've only scored 10 points? And defensively haven't been able to stop teams from scoring a third quarter. Do they get coached at halftime, or is it something that they're waiting for another team to do and then they'll adjust to that? Or what's up with Auburn's third quarter struggle?
I guess anytime you have problems in football, it's the eternal chicken and egg question of are the wrong plays being called, or are they executing the right plays poorly? And you can go round and round and round on that. I think it's pretty clear that in the third quarter they have not been as intense on offense. They have not gotten the line has not gotten off the ball that well. The running backs have not run as hard for whatever reason. I mean, that is, I think, demonstrable fact. It also has something to do with the plays that are being called. They get very conservative. Auburn's coaches always get very conservative when they get up about a 10-point lead, and I think that's a good idea when you have a great defense. Excuse me. Do they overdo it? Maybe, but that's why they're getting paid hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to coach. And I make slightly less than that for the Opelika-Auburn News. I would hesitate to. The fact is, regardless of whether their third quarter offense is as effective as it could be, they're 5-3. They have 2 losses in the SEC, and they're a game back of the lead in the SEC West. I mean, they're not that bad. And their fourth quarter offense, their fourth quarter and first half offenses have been phenomenal. So it's clearly not a personnel problem or a coaching problem. Really, it's just a third quarter problem, and it's something that is going to get fixed. It's something that has to get fixed. And it's something that they're focusing on very much this week. But it's important not to overdo the concern.
They're about where everybody projected them to be at this point in the season. They went about it a different way,
exactly.
But they're still about where everybody projected them. Projections for Saturday: Ole Miss, Auburn score. What happens?
I haven't picked an Auburn score
yet.
Not even within
we're going this week.
I mean, even in horseshoes and hand grenades, I would.
That's true.
Anyway, I'm going to say that Auburn wins this game because Auburn is better. Auburn, has better numbers, better players. You look at it position by position. There's very few places where you can legitimately make an argument that Ole Miss has better players at that position. I'm going to say that Auburn gets it together and they're going to win this game. Let's say 27-10. Ole Miss does not have enough on offense, and whether it's Seth Adams or Brent Schaefer under center, neither one of those guys is a top-level SEC quarterback. Of course, they're going to combine for like 8 touchdowns in this game, and I'm going to look, again, like an idiot. Can you tell I'm bitter? It's been a long season already, folks.
It's been bad. Auburn, I think, wins this going away, 38-10. Auburn. Defense rolls. Seth Adams is going to start.
Mike Szvetitz is taking the over.
Seth Adams on a short leash by Coach Orgeron, Ole Miss's quarterback, after throwing 4 picks to Arkansas. Brent Schaefer, we could see him on Saturday night, but I still think Auburn rolls easily. But we'll find out. Tuesday, we'll be back to break down that game and preview the upcoming game, the homecoming game against Tennessee Tech. Big one. I know you're excited.
Yeah, don't expect me to have a lot of real analysis on Tennessee Tech's offense, by the way.
I
haven't had a chance to break down the film on the Golden Eagles yet.
We'll do that next Tuesday on AuburnVersus.com. For Collin, Mickle, I'm Mike Szvetitz. We'll see you next week.